We have another sort of graphic that helps us look at quartile 1, the median, and the quartile 3. We use that to help us make this graphic, but we also need the minimum value and the maximum. Remember those two that we use to find the range. We use them also for something called a 5-number summary, and it's basically just gives you all 5 of those data points, and then we'll learn how to put it into a graphic in a few minutes. So to start with, here are the house prices in a particular neighborhood over the past 2 years. And there's a bunch of prices there, and we want the 5-number summary of the house prices. The first thing I want to do is use some technology, because those are big numbers and I don't feel like writing them all out. So I'll just pull up Excel. And if I'm going to put them into Excel, I need to just type in each of the numbers in its own cell, and a cell is a little rectangle there. So I'll just click on it. It's already clicked on the first one for me, so I'll just start typing in 865, and then I can just push enter in between and go to the next one. And I'm going to continue like that till all my data has been entered. And I'll fast forward so that you don't have to watch the pain of me entering all the numbers. All right, I've put all of my numbers into an Excel sheet. I am going to click somewhere on the first cell, hold down my mouse, and then drag down. Now I'm not trying to write over the data, I just want to select it. So I'm starting by clicking in the middle of the cell and pressing and holding my mouse button as I drag down. Then I will come up here to data, and I will click sort. And then it's already on column A, and so it's going smallest to largest. Beautiful. I just tell it to sort, and it has ordered all of my data for me. I would like to know the minimum, so I'm just going to type the word minimum so that I know what it is later. And then Q1, this will be the median, and then Q3, and then the maximum. Those are all the values I need. To find the minimum, we have a function, lovely function, and so we know already what the minimum is, but you can just do equals min, parentheses, and then click and select all of your data, and then write parentheses, enter, it puts the minimum value. So you can use Excel to figure out the first quartile or the 25% data if you want to. And to do that, you just type equals quartile, and you want the quartile.exe, the exclusive quartile. So that's the one that we want. If you use Google, it does the inclusive, which is a different method, and we don't want that one. So it doesn't match what I'm showing you. So make sure you use Excel and use the exclusive version of the quartile. And then you select your data. It says array, but it's asking for your data. So I'll select the data and then comma, and now it wants to know which quartile are you after. Well, I'm after the 25th percent because I want quartile 1, so I'll double click that, and it just puts a number 1 in there, right paren, and then enter. It's going to find the quartile for you. Now, I noticed on there that it was offering me a median as well, so I'm going to do equals quartile, exclusive again, and then select that data, and then comma, and it's going to offer me median, the 50th percentile. Beautiful. I'll double click that, it just puts the number 2 in, and then enter. I can do this one equals quartile, just like I did before, and then I can type in the coordinates to give me that data, A1 colon A15. You can type it in by hand if you want, comma, and then I want it quartile 3, so I just type in a 3 and parentheses and enter. Maximum, I'm going to do equals max, parentheses, A1 colon A15. Just like I did on the last part, or I can select it by hand, that's fine too. And it gives me the absolute maximum of my data range. Now, I do want to think about, I have 15 values. That means that if I'm crossing off numbers, I'm going to cross off 7. 15 minus 7 will get me down to 8. And if I cross 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, this 8 value I think is my median. And it looks like Google or Excel agrees. So that's my median. So I'm just going to color that in right there. With yellow. Now I know my median, and I'm going to count the rest of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them. And so I need 1, 2 off of each end, and 3. So I'm going to take off 1, 2, 3 from each end, and this is the number that should be my quartile 1. So here's what I want to do. Since I had everything calculated in Excel and I know all the results, I do want to write it out and show you how it looks if you're calculating by hand, because this finally is a data set that is a little bit different than the last ones that we did, and I want to make sure you know how to interpret it for finding those medians. Now I can write these down, and I think we're okay finding this median, right? So it's exactly in the middle of all my data. But when I want to find quartile 1, what I'm doing is ignoring the median. So even if I didn't have to calculate it, I'm ignoring this 145,850, and I'm just looking at the 145,495 and below. So that's what I've written out here. And then what I'm going to do is just mark off 1 on each end until I get to the middle, which happens to be the 120,900. And that will be my Q1. And what I had to do was mark off 3 on each end to get there. So if I mark off here, if I mark off 3, then this one here should be my upper quartile, or my Q3 marker. And if I look over here, Q3 is 159,635, and that's the same number. If you use the quartile.inc for inclusive, it's going to give you a different result. So we want the exclusive, which gives us the result like we've been working here. Okay, so I have my 5-number summary. So there's my 5 data values, and that is the 5-number summary for the house prices. So what percentage of the houses is at or below 159,635? Well, that's my Q3. And I know Q3 is, remember, this is 0. This is 25, 50, 75. So that's 75%. 75% of the houses are at or below 159,635. What is the range of house prices from this neighborhood? Well, that's easy. I can just subtract my maximum and my minimum. And if I turn that on, it will be 182,500 minus $100,900, and I get the range of prices is $81,600. That's quite a variation. So there's some really nice houses in this neighborhood and some not so nice houses in this neighborhood.